Hey, it's Heather at Adventures in Gardening, and today we're going to be doing a vegetable garden reset. So I'm Heather Thibault and I garden in Connecticut Zone 6, and I have been out of the garden for about a week. This is the area in which I pretty much solely grow vegetables. I do grow vegetables in different areas, but this is what I consider to be my main vegetable garden. And so I've been gone for a week out of the garden, and last night we had a really hard rainstorms, and things are overgrown a little bit. And today we're going to be getting rid of the things that are either the past their prime. We're going to be saving seeds from those things because that is part of my gardening process, and we just have to clean everything up. So we're going to go step by step. I'm going to be coming in and out throughout this day because it's going to take me several hours to do this, and just show you how I'm going to reset this vegetable garden to produce as much food as possible during the season. So that's my goal. So if you're new here, you should know that I garden in relatively small spaces and I produce as much food as possible in those areas. And doing that, succession planting is part of it, but I always have the up and coming vegetables, and I'm going to show you those before we get started. But here we are, right at early July, and so we've got July and August. We've got 60 days of good growing, and then we've got September for finishing, and usually we get our frost around October 1st. So you got to turn things over. And don't wait. If something is not productive in your garden, it's time for it to go and put something in that is going to be productive. There's plenty of vegetables out there that are 50, 60 days that you can still grow a lot of food in any space. So first I want to show you my kind of like, I don't know, what do you call it, the launch pad, the area where I've got plants that may or may not make it into the garden, but I have them just in case something fails. So let me show you. So I own a small business and I grow and sell plants to my local community during the month of May and first part of June. And so I have totally wrapped that up pretty much for the season, but I've always got extra plants here. So this, my greenhouse is a mess right now and I won't take you in there, but the plants that I have that are my in case of emergency or planned altogether are here. And I've got things like extra little pepper plants and some eggplants. So if I've got an empty space in the garden and something fails, I'm going to pop those in. I've got a gherkin, cucumber. Actually, I have a couple of those. Some flowers. Always have extra flowers because I don't want to have empty spaces in my garden. Even, I don't think I'm going to be planting those, but I do have some cabbages and kale down there. I have some pumpkins back here, again, in case anything fails. And actually, I do have a need for those right now. Not in my vegetable garden, but someplace else where a plant did fail. There's always going to be something that happens in the garden, where a critter gets in there, or a deer, or a groundhog, or, bad bugs. Anything could happen. And I have extra tomato plants just in case I need another tomato plant, or if I've got a tomato hornworm on my good tomatoes that has the white pouches on them, I'm going to stick them right on there. So these are my backup plants here, and I probably should mention, okay, so there's beer in my garden because I use the beer to get the slugs, not because I'm thirsty. All right, so let's get going on the vegetable garden. So let me show you what we're dealing with here. Okay, there's a lot of things in the pathways, a lot of weeds, still some lettuce that needs to be fed to the chickens. I do have a container to put all of the waste in to give to the chickens. The peas are past their prime. The grass is very tall. Tomato plants are all wonky, need to get fixed there. I will not be touching the cabbage today because I'm actually going to use some BT this evening on the cabbage, so I'm not going to touch those at all. I've got some parsley in the path. There's rose. The potatoes need another string here, so there's quite a bit to do. because just when it gets hard and when it gets hot, you don't give up. You come up with a plan. So we're going to come up with a plan today of what we're going to do. So first things first, I always start with the lowest hanging fruit when it comes to a big mess like this. And we're going to clear the paths and weed whack. Okay, so just that little bit helps me think so much better. So my paths are clear, and now we're going to take care of these peas. All right, so I've got 2 containers and I've got 2 different kinds of peas. So on this set is tall telephone, and I wait for them to get rattle dry, and they are indeed rattle dry, and the other side is green beauty. Now there's a few stragglers in here, okay? There's a few here and there that you think to yourself, oh, they might ripen on here. Okay, but listen, the time that it's going to take to ripen is going to affect my next crop. So sometimes you just got to rip it like a Band-Aid and just clear stuff out. So step 1, I'm going to go through and I'm just going to pull all of the seeds for next year. Okay, we got to think about next year when right now. And sometimes that is a hard thing to do, but when you're trying to be more sustainable and keep that circle going on your own property, from seed to plant to produce, you got to do all the steps, and this is an important one, to collect your seeds before they drop and hit the ground and you can't find them. Okay, so there are always going to be some that I'm going to miss, but the chickens are going to clean those up. They'll have fun going through them. So before I go to the next side, I'm going to go ahead and just start ripping these vines off. This is the messy part. And just in case I don't finish this project, I want at least one side done completely, because sometimes I will see a squirrel and then I'll forget what I was doing. This right here, I don't know if you can see it. So this is last year's onion right here that is blooming, so I'm trying not to pull that out for seeds for next year's onions. I'm gonna go through and just clean up the weeds while I'm here. All right, so the vines are gone and most of the weeds are also pulled in that bucket there. We're gonna have to make a trip down to the chickens before I go any further. So I'm left with green beans, some terrible looking cabbage. I guess I should take my own advice and just pull those out of there. This is sanguine lettuce that is going to be next year's seeds, and the onion right over there. So, and I reset lettuce down in that little section. See, that's sanguine lettuce down there. I did that a couple weeks ago. So this side is clear. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side, get all my seeds for next year's peas. We had a terrible pea year this year because of a windstorm that basically cut the growing tips off and stopped the peas in their tracks. So normally we eat a lot more peas than we did this year. Every year it's something. Both sides have a volunteer Blau-Hild purple pole bean on them, and I'm just going to leave them, let them just grow in between the cucumbers that I'm going to put here today. Alright, so I ended up with next year's seeds of the peas. The beds are clear. I've got some green beans already well on their way, and then this curly parsley survived the winter and I need these seeds, so instead of letting it flop around, and the seeds are not ready, it's not ready to to be dried. So I'm just going to tie this up to the cattle panel so it's out of the way. And I think I might trim some of the lower branches off because I don't need that many seeds. All right, so now I'm just gonna go get a hoe and just clean this up a little bit. And on the way, I'm going to give my ever hungry little garden helpers something to eat. Hey girls. So a lot of the things I'm going to be planting today are things that I did not necessarily intend to plant this year, like all of these cucumbers. So I decided that I was going to do a late season farmer's market with my plants and pot up the container tomatoes and have them be nice and big. And, oh, ants, okay. Anyway, have them be nice and big and full and mature, and they have tomatoes on them and everything. They're just gorgeous. So I potted those up, and then I sowed a ton of, 50-day, 50, 55, 60-day cucumbers, thinking, who wouldn't want to plant cucumbers? Well, nobody. Because even though I spent a lot of my youth working at a garden center and talking to people about succession planting, and the garden is not a one and done place. In our area, in my circle, in my area of influence, it just has not. Is anybody out there? Has it caught on for you? Just not here. So I am an island. But I still do it, and I'm hoping to reach a few of you out there who also will do it. The garden is a constant process, and it will reward you greatly if you keep turning it over during the season. Know your frost dates. Know your days to maturity. This is Marketmore. Oh, ants. Ants built a nest in there. This is Marketmore 76, and we will definitely have cucumbers from these plants. In fact, if you wait a little longer to plant cucumbers, you can bypass some of the bad critters that want to eat your cucumbers. I'm gonna take all these tags out. I do not need tags floating around in the garden. So I actually did not intend to plant cucumbers at all this year because I don't want to make pickles this year. Because I have plenty of pickles still. And so now, guess what? Not only am I planting a lot of cucumbers, but I'm gonna end up making pickles. So when I plant these in my fiber pots, I always crack the bottom. And then I bury the whole thing a little bit deeper. So yeah, making pickles this year. Everyone's getting pickles for Christmas. Mom, sis, you're getting pickles for Christmas. Hope you like pickles, because that's what you're getting. All right, now we've got all these nice new cucumbers put in. All right, so right here I am going to get my potato greens out of my path. So let's see. Yeah, I have one string in the middle. Okay, so now I'm going to the top because I don't want them hanging out into the path. And I do have some dried grass clippings that I'm going to put in here after on top of the potatoes, kind of, sort of like to hill them, but that's just the way that I do it. All right, so as far as the cherry tomatoes go, I'm just going to come through here and I push and pull them through the cattle panels, and sometimes I do have to tie these. I don't have to tie the tomatoes down below that are on the strings because they just hold on, but these will need some help. If I've got any really low suckers like this one that are sticking out, I'm just going to snip it off. Same thing goes for the other side. If anything is poking out that way, I'm going to snip it off instead of wrapping it through. I've learned to be a little ruthless with the suckers facing the other way from the cattle panel, because if I don't, it becomes a really big problem. Oh, I just broke the tip of that one. Oh well. It becomes a really big problem later and a jumbled mess. So when I see them and I can't tuck them in, I gotta snip them. Who do you belong to? Now I'm just going to pull all the weeds. Sadly, or happily for the chickens, they're going to have some more lettuce, but this lettuce at the very end is for seed. Okay, so I will show you all the progress at the very end, but the clock is ticking and I just realized I am not finishing this project today. That's okay. Okay, so big thing I gotta do, I'm going to be standing on the outside of this garden and I'm gonna take out the rest of that lettuce. The lettuce is spent. I've snapped the heads off and my chickens and my bunny have eaten very well off of that. I did not intend to plant out there. I've got five purple rain, so I'm going to put them right where the lettuce is, and you can see where those green stakes are. Those are purple rain tomato plants. It's an awesome tomato plant, so I'm just going to have a lot more than I intended to this year. And actually these pepper plants were on my list today to put into slightly bigger pots. They're looking really good. These are Mira peppers, M-I-R-A. So I'll just move them out of the way. If I didn't already say this, purple rain is a dwarf tomato plant. So the thing about this dwarf tomato plant is I need a good strong stake like these, and I'm hoping I attached these, or I did not attach these. Okay, so they need to be attached. Oh no, I did attach them. Oh, good job, Heather, good job. Okay. Because they get so stinking heavy with tomatoes. So they get 4 to 5 feet tall, and the tomatoes are so heavy, you definitely need one of these green tea posts. So I am just gonna get these planted. Again, these are from the farmer's market. I did not intend to plant these this year, but I'm not going to let them go to waste either. Hello, Pipey the Pooh. What are you doing? What are you doing? You helping? The ones that were in the pots already have tomatoes on them, and the ones, oh, those have tomatoes too. Okay. Those are much, much bigger. Can you see the tomatoes? Can you see them? Okay. I think there's another storm coming in. Who wouldn't want to buy a short, stocky tomato plant with tomatoes already on them? Who? Everybody. Everybody. Don't feel sorry for me though, because I sell hundreds of tomatoes. Oh, you okay there? Hundreds of tomatoes in the month of May. I just sell, like, they're in 4-inch fiber pots is how I normally sell them. I just thought I'd try something a little different this year. Nope. You okay? Poo-poo? Got a fur ball? Look out. Okay, so I've got 5% battery left, and my husband just called and said there's a storm coming in. So let's just recap what we have done today. So now I have purple rain planted in there, and I'll put stakes in tomorrow. I weeded the onions. There are areas I did not touch today, but I weeded the onions and they look good. I need to take care of these, do some maintenance tomorrow. My cherry tomatoes, you can see they're on the cattle panel. I got both sides. See how nice, and they're all going in that direction there. They look good and nice and clean on both sides. Oh, I have lettuce leaf basil down there. I have my Marvel of 4 season that is for seed. I've got some baby lettuce put in here, all new cucumbers. On the other side are beans that have been planted a while. They're just starting to produce. I have one early wonder jalapeno right there. And again, these cherry tomatoes look fantastic. This is the lettuce leaf basil. And over here are the newly transplanted cucumbers with my bean vines. There's one of these on each one of the cattle panels. But everything is just cleaned up. It makes it so much more welcoming to be in here and do more work. You can get through. Everything is nice and tidy. My peppers are looking fantastic. Look at these Hungarian black jalapenos there. This is Black Beauty tomato. We're looking really good. All I did on these is I took suckers off the Cordy-Boo. I do special ones here, I should say. Cordy-Boo, Black Beauty on that side. I trimmed all the bottom leaves and cut extra suckers off. These are poblano peppers, 3 plants here. Got my zinnias in the back. Those are radish seeds right there. This is Early Wonder tomato. There are some tomatoes right there. And I have to take care of over in there. We'll do that tomorrow. Everything is nice and tidy. And I did not talk about the zucchini mess here. These are for seed. Some of them will be for dinner tonight. And oh, you little stinker. Okay, well, normally what I do is I pick the beetles and I throw them in the bowl. So that is it for today, my friends. Thanks for spending the day with me. I got a lot done. If you have one takeaway from today, and that is the garden is a constant process, okay? If something's not being productive, we still have plenty of time, at least here in Connecticut Zone 6. wherever you are, I'm sure you still have time too to plant things. There's always something out there. Seek out the short day, the 30, excuse me, pipey, the 40, 50, 60 day, just check on how many days to maturity the plants are. It's not too late to still have a great garden this year. So thanks for spending time with me. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next adventure in gardening. See you soon.